I was in a little bar in Canada. I was getting drunk, chaining beers, and ended up chatting with an American Marine. We banter for a bit and become total bros almost instantly, and we spend the night trying to pick up girls, acting like complete fools and joking around. When it's closing time, we find out that we're stationed at the same hotel, which is not a really big coincidence since it's the closest one. We wobble to it, still cracking up and singing in the streets like lunatics, and after we finally arrive, we exchange phone numbers, and just before I enter the lobby, the Marine stops me. "Hey, you want to see something?" I get the feeling that he'll whip out his junk if I say anything, but thankfully he reaches into his pocket and gets a weird-looking box. He opens it to reveal a medal in the box, and I nod in approval. This is the Medal of Honor, bro." I start immediately hyping him up. "Bro, I had no idea you were a veteran." I jokingly saluted him and thanked him for his service. Curious, I asked him where he served. He tells me that basically the answer should be Afghanistan, but in truth, he was in special ops somewhere in the Middle East. I asked him where, but he only answers that he can't tell, and after a little back and forth, he changed the subject and asked me, "Hey man, you want to hear something really disturbing?" Of course, I agree. Nothing better than some crazy war stories. He lights a cigarette and starts telling me the story. Towards the end of his career, his group had the order to attack some terrorist hideout in the middle of nowhere. They went there expecting hell, but strangely, there was almost no resistance. They killed a few people who fired at them, but most of the people there surrendered, almost begging to become prisoners. Something strange is going on now. After interviewing a prisoner, they get the tip to walk about 2 miles east. The only thing they could get out of him, even with the advanced interviewing technique, he told me with a little grin on his face. The squad split up and 4 soldiers went to check out on the tip. After about 2 miles as promised, they found a big tarpaulin spread on the ground. After lifting it up, they discovered a really big hole under it, which was filled with gray, disgusting, rotten bodies, and decided to quickly get away from there. At that point, I tried to be the comic relief and asked him if anybody soiled their pants, and his exact words were, "Nah man, we're hardcore spec ops, corpses don't scare us. What made us leave was that they were still moving, man." He tells me they brought a few more guys with them and a video camera for documentation purposes. They lifted the tarpaulin again and took footage of the bodies squirming in the hole. A quick body count got about 10 gray bodies slowly crawling in the hole, seemingly trying to get out. He told me that suddenly he felt something on his boot. One of them had grabbed him, and without even thinking, he pulled out his knife and cut it. I asked him again if he about soiled himself with what just happened, but he just shook his head. "Special ops are hardcore, man, I tell you." After that event, they all had to report to some superior authority. They all got interrogated, and of course, the video camera got confiscated. None of their questions got answered, and nobody must tell anything to anyone. In return, they would get a Medal of Honor and all the privileges that go with it, to which they agreed. After these pretty outlandish stories, he smiles and asks me if I want to see something even more awesome. He tells me to open the box and lift the medal and the stuffing under it. I'm not sure what it is, but when I realize, I almost puke on the spot. It was a wretched, disgusting gray finger. I could swear that I saw it bend a little bit. He almost cries, laughing at my reaction. "Yeah, bro, I wasn't kidding." I'm still thinking it's just some elaborate, twisted joke, and he just shrugs. "Well, now you can tell the story too." Eventually, we say goodbye and go to our rooms. The next morning, I see him in the lobby and we shake hands, and he promises to offer me a beer next time. Next week, I tried to call him, but apparently his phone number wasn't real, and I never had a chance to contact him ever again, and I haven't heard from him since. If you enjoyed this scary story, listen to thousands more, either over on the Let's Read YouTube channel or podcast.